So now, speaking of Idris Elba, let's get into this story because for a long time there have been rumors that Idris Elba was in talks to play James Bond in an upcoming James Bond reboot once Daniel Craig stepped down. That's been floating around for years. However, Idris has finally come to and responded on this and says he was never in the running, even though a lot of people run around here saying that he was. So shout out to Dark Horizons for this story. It says Amazon MGM Studios announced earlier that the search for the next James Bond is underway. This is another Amazon property, with the casting process expected to take place this summer. The Golden Globe winning The Wire, an upcoming Masters of the Universe star, has long been one of the most common names suggested as ideal James Bond candidate for much of the past decade or so. But this week, while out promoting the latter film, he tells People magazine he's not in the running, saying, "My name's not getting thrown out. No way. They're going younger, and I wish them all the luck in the world. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. I'm honestly not in the race ever. I wasn't in the race in the first place." Now, casting director Nina Gold is working with director Denis Villeneuve and producers Amy Pascal and David Heyman on the search for who will play James Bond next. And whoever they cast must ooze sex appeal. And they said that they're planning on doing three movies, at least three movies, and starring it. But there have been quite a few names that have been floating around in this whole James Bond space over the past couple of years. And I had to write them down before I forget because it was like Jacob Elordi, Colin Turner, Tom Holland, Harris Dickinson, Regé Jean Page, Theo James, Aaron Pierre, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I've heard a lot of that name floating around. I think he'd be a great addition. He's a little rough around the edges, which is kind of like what you got from Daniel Craig. I've heard Colin Turner. People were like, he's not. I've heard people say he's not fuckable. That's the word. Really? Tell that to Dula Pete, because Dula Pete is currently fucking Colin Turner. So if you can get the likes of a Dula Pete who looks like a Bond girl to date you, he's quite fuckable, last I checked. So when you straight people run around making these accusations on your YouTube channels or whatever the case is, at least do your homework, know the behind the scenes stuff to even know what you're talking about before y'all come to that conclusion. Maybe he's not fuckable to you because you're a man and you don't want to sleep with men, but it's not just women that are going to be up in here oogling at them. And some people even said that they didn't think that Daniel Craig had sex appeal. I was like, what the fuck you was looking at? Because Daniel Craig definitely oozes sex appeal. He also looked like he'll beat your ass if you gave him the craziest look. So you kind of want that. It's like the sex appeal, the sense of danger, all of that stuff, and then those moments where he could be vulnerable, which he was with Vespa. So in that sequence, so love to have seen Idris play Bond maybe 15 years ago, but he's too old. He's 53 years old. So if you're gonna, you know how long it takes to shoot it, like they have to cast it this summer. They're probably not gonna go ahead and start filming until 2027. The movie will be out in 2028 because Denis right now has to finish up on Doom Messiah, well, Doom 3. He has to, do all the bells and whistles, the post production, the effects, the music, all of that stuff. Promote that movie. That movie comes out in December, top of maybe January, maybe February, or maybe you could push to March. I can start filming mid March or just the middle, like mid 2027. Spend maybe 6 months to a year, I guess. Who knows how long they're going to shoot this movie? Have it done and ready by 2028. He'll already be way past in his mid 50s at that point. So it takes like 2 to 3 years to put these movies out. And who knows how long they're going to be taking in between films to get it up and running with the next story and the filming and the prepping and all that stuff. So you want a 60-year-old Idris Elba running around here in the course of three movies? That's too little too late with that. If y'all would have did him 15 years ago, back when he was doing Luther, or as we like to say sometimes, Luther, or back when he did that Hobbs and Shaw movie where he played a really good super spy villain up in there, then I think it would have worked at that time. But at this point, he's way too old. And I would and that's why I was like, y'all waited too late. Another person, speaking of aged out, Henry Cavill. Henry's in his, I believe he's what, 42? He's a little too old. Yes, he's about to play Duncan MacLeod in Chad Stahelski's Highlander movie, but I think that I want to see him in that versus him playing this, spy. And we got a bit of um Henry playing a spy in Mission Impossible. Which one? Rogue Nation? If I'm not mistaken, I forget which one. It might have been Rogue Nation. But he's already played in a like in a whole spy situation. He played the villain. So I like the idea. We've seen him in different masses of playing that part, and then on top, well, I guess it doesn't really matter because Bond is a brand within itself. But he already had a movie that just came out. None of y'all went to go see it. That new Guy Ritchie movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. So there's that. And another person I thought, if he doesn't get if he doesn't get hired to play young T'Challa, like T'Challa Jr. in Black Panther, since I know some people gonna have a problem with a black man playing it, but whatever. First of all, Ian Fleming's novels is outdated. You can go wherever you want to go with this damn franchise at this point. Because those books came out in the 60s and we're in 2026. So the books are outdated. You can't look back to those books. You got to kind of bring it into current times of where espionage and the world of spies and cameras and all of stuff, like where does all of that fit in today's market? But if you want to go younger and you want to have a black actor play James Bond, if that's the direction you want to go, which I don't think they will, I say go for the other Idris, and that'd be Damson Idris. Like I would like to see him as Bond. He's young, he's attractive, he has sex appeal, he's English, so I would like to see him in the role. But to be honest, I would rather see him as our new Black Panther. But in the hope of speaking of which, I hope they just figure out what the hell is going on with that whole situation soon because it's been a minute since we've gotten ourselves a little Black Panther situation over here in this neck of the woods. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you bummed that you're not going to be able to see Idris Elba in a James Bond film? Because he says he was never in the race, and maybe he wasn't, or maybe there was some talks before, and it just didn't work out because they still haven't even come up with a script or figure things out or whatever the case is. And this is I'm talking about back in the day. Or they decided to go in a different direction. Who knows? But he says he was never in the race. We just gotta take his word for it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.